And that's me. Right. Okay. If you don't know this game, this is the YouTuber accent, I think. This is a sandbox game where there's a dog. Raise your own little puppies. So you get puppies. Listen to this. Listen to this right now. You get. We're gonna name him Fem. Okay, your new pup is here. This is my dog. And I control my dog and I look around. This is my dog. I raise dogs here. What does it want me to go home? The screen gives you overview of all the dogs. I know this game and I know everything about this game. If accidentally it's up.
Oh, in the middle of the time. Yeah. He's kind of still awake. Okay. Yes, studying. No.
Being removed from this world. This will end up heaven. We have heaven in storage. This is an amazing game that I love forever. I can place another one. Am I rich enough? I'm placing 2. Can I place 3? Okay, I want a burrito for my dog. I'm gonna get more food. I'm gonna get a lot of food. I want my dog to eat well. Eat. I'm trying my best to eat the burrito. You're doing amazing. Is my dog okay? Are we good? Eat food now. Yum.com. This looks like your puppy's ready to pupate. Pupate. Click on them. Okay. I love that I have they them pronouns for my dog. I love my dogs, my they them dogs. It's sitting down like an awesome, amazing dog. It's so talented. I'm in a cocoon now. Okay, so you basically, you breed these dogs, and they can be so mutated that they end up looking weird as hell. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of breeding. Hatch. It's pooping.
Right now, Aussies deserve more.
Hello everybody, my name is Xylek. Don't take naps past the hour of 6 p.m. You will wake up in a different universe. Today we're gonna be playing Roblox. Listen, I've fallen victim to the fuck. Oh, 100? Okay, dude, I was gonna do like a little joke where like, damn, I want to be a handsome hunk like this guy right here. Imagine me, imagine little old me, but max potential reached. But no, I'm not spending $1,000 to play this game. This is paid access because the only way we can keep paying for the AI to keep the game running. oh my god. Okay, damn, hella people dislike this shit. Oh my god. No, oh my little guy fell. Dude, no, get back up there. Okay, sorry. I want to find out just how much money this game has played. If we take just the amount of likes it has, that is bare minimum, and dislikes. So So, fucking 13,000. Okay, dude, we're already doing math in today's video. We're not even like a minute in. This is fucked up. So yeah, anyway, 13,000. Holy fuck, 1.3 mil. And then, okay, if we go to this, it is $200. Wait, no. Okay, we'll say 10,000 Robux is $100, and they went up to $1 million. God damn, bro, that's a lot of money. That is like $10,000. Yeah, my ass. Guys, we have to keep paying for the AI. There ain't no fucking way. All right, dude. Funny, haha intro. Kill it. It's over. Actually, don't. Okay, beautiful. Fucking beautiful. Very scary horror game. God, you love to see it. Night before the job. Oh, come on. Come on. Not a good start. Not a good start. These fucking countdowns. Giant UI at the bottom of my screen. Why are we Christmas? Wait! Oh my god, I have my own Coco! Dude, look. Wait. I have my thing. That's funny. Why is it Christmas time? It is goddamn March. I do have a Santa hat on. Dude, okay, see, this guy's smart. I like this guy. We both... Oh my god. Okay. We both are, like, preparing in advance. That's why I saw my Christmas hat on. Watch TV. I like that guy. Oh, that's fucking creepy. I actually think I have a lot of Russian viewers. Can you translate that, please? Here, I'll try and give it a nice angle. We'll back up. Oh, it's way easier to see from back here, actually. And this shit. Okay, yep. Whoa. Dude, our neighbor's getting lit. What the hell? Dude, I want to go hang out with him. Drink tea. Tea. Dude, straight out the kettle is crazy. Grab trash. God, dude. Do I live on like the 18,000th floor of a fucking building? Dude, I'm not even max height. I like that. Get dressed. Okay, or get trash in there. Alright. Take out the trash. It stinks to high heaven, or I've never heard a human being say that shit once in my life, bro. You got me about to cry, bro. Where do I get dressed? Right here. Dude, this is so fuck. Dude, I feel like this is one that like that one like backrooms level with the next spot. Oh shit, hey, translate that. Oh, to that's open. Dude, I'm fat. Do you see how giant my shirt was? Okay, what a handsome guy. What was that? Oh, it's because I typed or pressed escape. Okay, what do I do now? I did all mine. Dude, okay, I want to go party with this guy. Hold on. Can I leave? I can't leave. That was my spit, by the way. Just thought I'd let y'all know. Why does it take them so long to clean? Is that fucking piss? And dude, that is a fat bottle. Okay, I know for sure. Who was getting lit? Was it you? Oh my god, dude, okay. Why do I have a baseball or a metal pipe? Dude, this is like that one SCP-087, I think. Or... Bottles are preventing me from leaving. Dude, the homeless alcoholic community might be about to kill you and sell your body parts for more alcohol. Alright, well, I guess I'm going Roblox. Yeah, I bet you feel real good about yourself. I'm sorry? Why can't I go up? Oh, fuck, dude. That has a 15-second cooldown? Oh, and I have to listen to that noise every single time I use it. That's nice. Ow! Okay, I'm gonna try that again. Actually, I do think that kind of like flashlight system is really scary, actually. I kind of fuck with it. Except when it makes fucking mice repellent noise, dude. Oh, I can move them. Oh, fuck you, dude. 1 out of 6. Alright. I'll see you guys in 45 minutes. Oh, come on. I was trying to walk through and it wouldn't fucking let me. Oh, I left. Okay. Hey, buddy. Hey. Wake up. Oh, what is this? Soggy ass paper. Or these footsteps. Alright, dude, I'm armed and I'm dangerous. I ain't afraid of anything right now. Okay, maybe I am a little bit. Okay, we can get kidnapped or we can talk to this guy. Hello? Never mind, I can't. Fuck you, fucking die. Alright, y'all. Alright, we're getting kidnapped. Hi, mister! Can you take me to the Cheesita restaurant? Yeah, hop in. You got a minute to get settled. Dude, what do you mean? I have a full minute to get settled. What the fuck are you talking about? Why would I need... I think this guy's gonna do something bad to me. Hey. Oh my god, dude, he's a hairy one. Fucking shit. Dude, I wanna get a lizard. I want a lizard crawling around my room and or something. I don't know. I want a Komodo dragon to hunt me down and kill me one day. Oh, that was a lie. Please, I don't want that. Alright, our Uber has delivered us. Thank you for not touching me. I don't think he did anyway. I didn't really pay him anything. Oh, what the fuck is that? Alright, well, I guess we're going in.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Cheesita. Cheesita. Alright. Hey there, I'm the director of Cheesdo. We're looking for people to join the team. Oh shit. Dude, I don't you want a hug? Here you go. Ew. Ew. Check orders up in the kitchen, keep things moving. Customers will be coming in, make sure they're served properly. Okay, Mr. Fring, if you're ready to work and handle a fast-paced environment, we want you on board. Guys, hiccup. This is bad. Let's see what you got. Let me at him. Well, let's wait. You're gonna make me fucking wait again. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I just be walking on 20,000 degree stoves like a boss. Oh, the visitor ordered French fries, burger, and Bloxiade. Do you look like you want to kill yourself? A stinky burger? Okay. Plastic cup. Okay, wait. Plastic cup. Bloxiades. Okay, I'm gonna give you AIDS real quick. Oh, fuck. Wait, don't submit order. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I kind of pump faked him. You know when waiters like do that to you? Like walk up to you like the most delicious meal you've ever seen, then just like completely ignore you. Oh, I don't. Okay, I really don't gotta do shit, or do I? Nope. Fuck no, I don't. French fries. French fries. Only OGs know why I'm stimming right now. All right, here you go. Well, not even a thank you? Dude, I hate that. Well, I didn't really work hard. I guess I understand. Next time that happens, I'm gonna give him the...
Total Tools Mega Outdoor Power Event is on now. Get up to $2,000 to spend on more tools.
Oh.
Hurry, must end Sunday.
Invisalign aligners are made with superior material compared to previous generations. Invisalign aligners provide more controlled tooth movement than ever before. Invisalign offers better shape retention. Choose Invisalign, the #1 clear aligner brand in the world.
You know. Oh, fuck. Sorry, sir. Just the burger. Okay, I will get you just the burger. No, we have like an infinite supply, dude. Hell yeah. Dude, I hate that noise so much. Ew! Well done. Thanks. My shift over. Okay. Oh, chicken. What's up, Vanilla Fit? Oh, what the fuck? My homie's starving. Oh my god. Okay. Is that chicken? Dude, that's fucked. What the hell? Oh, in a Bloxy Cola. Alright, dude. Here we go. I want some fries and biscuits. Wait, no. I want some... How does it go? A side of biscuits. That ain't enough. What the hell? Burger fried chicken. Alright, you got hot sauce. Oh, it says right there. Okay, we're gonna get your epic sauce. Dude, I don't speak what he just said. Okay, burger and chicken. Dude, you are a large individual. So much to love is what I'm trying to say. Greeteth thee, dear cashier. I doth with trieth somewhat spicy. You want a spicy burger? You want like wings or something? Alright, dude. Enjoy. Dude, I love just working 9 to 5s in video games, you know? It's totally not like I'm playing games to escape like my 9 to 5 in real life. Burger, chicken, witch's brew. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? Alright. This is the last fucking order I take. If nothing interesting happens, I'm done. This video will fucking end. What do you want? Witch's brew? Alright, dude. Get the fuck out of my store. Oh, I have a Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding. I'm literally just working, dude. I'll take a broom. Okay. Dude, this game was funny. Now I'm starting to get pissed off. Alright. Something fucking really hilarious needs to happen. Or I'm gone. Go to home. Okay. Thank God that's over. How much I get paid? I worked for like 5 minutes. Damn, this is the most loyal Uber driver I've ever seen in my life. Cash your card. Buy something to eat, buddy. Very handsome. Okay. Something to eat. Let's do... Dude, I actually fucking hate Lay's. You're paying for air and grease. Buying a bag of Lay's. What is that? When did I get... Oh, it's the broom. Oh. Alright, dude. Take care. Go to sleep. Alright. Dude, if the credits roll, I'd be so happy right now. That'd be a beautiful ending to this game. I would laugh. Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm kind of just living life. Read the note in the director office. Okay, Mr. Fring, he's onto something back there. Hi guys, I'm leaving today, so there might be some electricity issues. If that happens, he needs to go to the basement and restart the generators. The guy who worked here before you complained about some weird, creepy sounds. Don't worry, it's just rodents. Your favorite and coolest boss. Just wait. The customer walks up to the till. What's up, you bald-headed bro? Hit me up with something tasty here. I'm gonna hit you up with the fucking outro of today's video. Okay, this game seems like funny and stuff. I will play it again, okay? And I will finish what I goddamn started. Okay.
No, I'm.
Here. Like, the more you tell her, the more.
Like whatever this is, you know, maybe some sort of black hole event.
Soft and strong. 40 cents a roll. Cole's So Soft and Strong 3-ply toilet paper 24-pack is just $9.50 every day at Coles.
Whether you're on a bike or in a car, we're all just people on the move. We share the same road, and we all have rules we need to follow. Like looking up.
Was the community tab, hoping I could get more of an answer to what the description was talking about. I found a total of 3 posts. They all seem to be documenting evidence of some kind. The first piece of evidence seemed relatively normal at first, being a very old screenshot of 2 players in Flood Escape. The strange thing is that Flood Escape never had a day-night cycle. There was never anything programmed in the game that could have caused this to happen. This theme continues with the next post, being another very old screenshot of Natural Disaster Survival, where it is nighttime. Natural Disaster Survival also never had a day-night cycle, but there's something else to address. The island is completely gone. It was obvious now that this channel was documenting some strange anomaly. Whether it be an exploiter, glitch, or something paranormal, these events were linked, and they weren't the only cases of this, as the next post would tell me even more.
Breakthrough. We have just been sent groundbreaking raw footage that is by far the best evidence we have obtained yet. We are currently putting the file through a verification process to prove legitimacy, and if it is found to be unmodified footage, it will be archived here.
And sure enough, at the time I had found it, the channel had uploaded one single video, titled EveBun771 footage. Hopefully by watching this, I could figure out what was going on with this channel. The video starts off with Eve, the person recording, joining a game, appearing to join another friend, CoolBlue 2002. The game they're playing is the Roblox Mall, a relatively well-made tycoon game for the time. The two eventually meet up, and Eve decides to go to a burger shop. After messing around for a bit with the buttons, Eve opens the door in the back, and gets jump-scared by— oh, that's just brutal. The two are fascinated by the conveyors in the back, and proceed to remake the hit music video Here It Goes Again by OK Go. Eve then notices a big button in the back of her shop reading badge, $1,000, and she makes it her goal to get this badge before leaving the game. Okay, so what's going on here? This seems like a normal video of just 2 kids playing Roblox, and for the next 10 minutes, it's just that, but eventually, it happens. As you may have guessed, this game also never had a day-night cycle. However, there's a bit more to this. If you take a very close look at the sky, you'll notice something very uncanny. The moon is ever so slightly moving without the stars. Normally the moon is part of the skybox, so it should be frozen like the stars, but you can see it shifting before Eve walks back inside the mall. But the two are done playing laser tag for the moment, so they won't be dying and respawning back outside of the mall. I guess not. From here, Eve walks back into the kitchen of her burger shop, but stops as something is very wrong. Eve had purchased a grill and a stove, but they were both now completely gone. This again follows the theme from Evidence 2, items slowly disappearing until the game isn't functional. But right now the game is still fine. Eve just has to serve her fries cold. Eve leaves her shop unattended again to check out Blue's area. Blue had gotten the gun shop, but she somehow didn't have guns yet. When Eve comes back this time, she notices through the wall that something else is missing. The badge claim. Blue's cash register also gets deleted around this time. Coincidentally, something she made fun of Eve for not having earlier in the video. Despite not being able to get the badge anymore, Eve keeps spirits high by getting back at Blue about the cash register, and decides that instead of getting the badge, she'll just get to $1,000. However, this doesn't really work out for Eve as she gets too tempted into buying the other models, and eventually, her whole cash collector is just deleted. She's infuriated, but she still hasn't left the game yet, which is something we haven't seen. Every post in the community tab mentions the players voluntarily disconnecting. They always leave, but Eve and Blue are still in the game. Over time, an unnerving ambient noise has been playing in the background, getting louder and louder the longer the night lasted. This begs the question, what happens if you don't leave? A lot went down in that ending. First of all, the moon had clearly been approaching over time. The ambient getting louder was signaling its arrival. Second of all, right before the video cut off, we heard footsteps, many footsteps. Eve was rapidly approached by a group of something. Lastly, the Welcome to the Roblox Mall banner text was edited to read "Leave." While it's currently unknown what approached Eve or why they wanted the two to leave, there is more to unpack in the description. We learned that Eve herself reached out through email to the people behind this organization, meaning that she is still alive to this day. The description also proposes a theory that the leave text signaled that they want people out of the game when the moon arrives. I can only imagine they refers to what approached Eve. The last bit of the description signals that Blue's account still exists on Roblox. The organization tried contacting her but failed and is asking for the viewer to help. Loading up Blue's profile, there isn't much to see until you look deeper. Blue is wearing a hidden transparent t-shirt with a very weird price of 3 million Robux. But the number isn't just random. Looking closely, these numbers actually spell out a date, 3/11/2013. This could very likely be the day the incident took place. Going to this t-shirt and reading the description, we see a scramble of letters. This scramble is a YouTube URL ending, and putting it at the end of a YouTube link, we get this video. To address the most important thing, we now finally know what took Eve, but it's unclear if these grey Robloxians are real people, a hack client script, an illusion, or something else entirely. The description of this video reads, "I really didn't think I would ever see them again, even in someone else's recording, but I knew this wasn't an isolated incident. I need to know how the hell Evelyn is still here today. It's exactly like when they took him. I know there are more. I know they took more, and they could still be taking more as I write."
Legos. It's how we do Italian.
They call this the lucky country.
Red 55!
But there's a funny thing about luck. There's only so much of it to go round.
That's a cow.
See, while you're having a ripper,
5 of them.
someone else is having a shocker.
Spewing.
Yeah, You never know which end of the stick you're gonna get when the lucky country isn't so lucky.
This appears to be a rushed note from the person behind this account upon seeing the video. It's unclear whether there are actually multiple people running this account or if it's just this one person. They mention that it's exactly like when they took him, meaning that they must have had an encounter with this anomaly in the past, and it must have took someone from them, judging by their reaction to Eve being alive. Things must have went differently with their encounter. From here, I formed a running theory on what the account stood for, and if it wasn't obvious, it appears to be abbreviating Moon Cult Investigation. The group of Grey Robloxians are likely cultists, and the moon is their deity. At this point, I was more than invested, but despite just uncovering how dangerous this anomaly might be, from here, the channel went silent. There were weeks of inactivity, and during those weeks, I only got more interested and decided to dig deeper myself. I had seen Blue's profile, but I hadn't looked at Eve's yet. Eve had nothing hiding around on her profile like Blue, and her bio just looks like something any other kid would write, talking about her pet bunny. There was something at the bottom though. It looks like she tried to link a social media, but it got tagged. Assuming this bio was wrote when she first made her account, we would have to think what social media she could have been using in 2012. Luckily, the tagged word is 6 letters long, which allows us to narrow it down pretty easily. Instagram is 9 characters long, Facebook is 8, Twitter is 7, but Tumblr perfectly matches how long the tagged word is. Looking up Eve1771 on Tumblr brings us to a blog owned by Eve. There isn't much there, but importantly, she posted a link to a YouTube channel owned by Blue. Going to Blue's channel, I found one video from 2016, approximately 3 years after the incident, and it was called Returning. Finally, another lead. The video starts off with Blue joining Simpson City Tycoon. For the first 3 minutes, she seems to just be playing normally, until once again, it happens. Nighttime was never in this game, and this time it seems that Blue knows that. She immediately jumped on top of the store to get a vantage point and possibly to stay safe in case the cultists tried to come for her. She then began typing.
You're here. What did all of you do to Eve? She had to go home from school that day because she kept crying. Answer up.
I was in shock when I first saw these messages. I had assumed at first Eve had just been kicked from the game like Blue, but this is telling a completely different narrative. Eve must have interacted with the cult, but it seems like things must have went bad because she didn't even tell Blue what happened. Blue continues to ask for answers in the chat for another 2 minutes, saying she isn't scared anymore, but then she looks up at the sky and notices the moon has already advanced a decent amount. The thing is, Blue doesn't know what this means. She saw the night, she saw the cultists, but she never got far enough outside to see the moon before the server was shut down. She continues pressing for another minute before she starts asking some real questions.
Why are you all still following me? I didn't even come on here to talk to you people. I just wanted to play Roblox again. Why would you even join me if you wanted us to leave the last time?
When I read these messages, I thought for a bit, as Blue was proving a good point. The last time the cult manifested, even Blue were told to leave, and the running theory is that the cult deletes the game until it's non-functional so that the players leave. And then it hit me. Nothing in the game had been deleted yet. Blue wasn't meant to leave this time. The moon in the sky was nearing full size, and Blue had just about had enough with not being answered. She finally declared she was going to leave, but then, something she could have never seen coming happened. It was Eve. Blue couldn't believe what she was seeing, but she was then convinced of it pretty fast.
Hey Emma, let's play a bit longer.
Blue began frantically typing out,
Eve, why the hell are you here? You said you wouldn't ever play this.
but then she stopped and realized, why would Eve ever log on again?
Oh, yeah, I have. Oh.
This video was terrifying to say the least. The description reads, I haven't played this game since when Eve and I first saw them, but after this, I don't think I'm ever going to again. I talked to Eve and she said it wasn't her in the game. I was honestly surprised that the Moon Cult investigation hadn't found this video yet. The cultists are capable of disguising as other players, and it seems like they can find out your personal information as well. Emma must be Blue's real name. The last thing we can get from this video is that Blue definitely saw too much. Her and Eve weren't meant to stay as long as they did, and the cult came right back to try and take her the second she logged back onto Roblox. This now brings us back to our main character, the person behind the MCI archive account. They had an encounter with the moon as well. Did they also see too much? Only time will tell, but for now, they finally uploaded a new video, titled Investigation Update. To start off, this video actually has a narrator.
Hello everyone. This video is being brought to you by the head of the Moon Cult investigation.
They go on to talk about how they started making a game with the purpose of tracking down the cult, but if I'm being honest, it really doesn't look like that good of a game. They said it serves its purpose, but I don't know how they expect the cult to join them. They're playing on a burner called Moon Cult Investigator, and judging by the fact that the cult hasn't already showed up in the server that they're in, this account isn't on their radar. However, the most interesting part of the video isn't this game's devlog itself, it's what the narrator said at the end.
The reason I'm uploading this is because in case I, well, fail, there's a way to get into the back end. One of you people can act as I've intended and track down the cult if they appear. It's a bit of a puzzle. Someone's probably smart enough, but it's only intended for if someone else needs to do this, and I'm alive right now, so there's no need to try it.
That's really hot. Need captions? Canva adds captions for you. That's hot. That's really hot. Try Canva video today.
I guess you can skip the advertisements. They're not really important.
You'll only be putting yourself at risk.
To first address the elephant in the room, the narrator is literally indirectly telling us they might die. They never outright say it, but the wording is obvious. In case I fail, I'm still alive now. It seems like they didn't want to straight up say it, but they don't want this investigation to go cold if they do die, which brings us to the other thing that needs to be addressed. I initially believed that this was an organization of many people, the Moon Cult investigation. The account often talked using we and us, but if this really was a group of people, why would the narrator need to tell us to finish the job? Couldn't the other people in the organization fill in their place? I was starting to doubt that there really were multiple people behind this investigation. Now I know that the narrator told us to only try and get into the back end if they died, but I still wanted to see exactly what they had done, and maybe possibly find out any secrets hidden inside of the game. Okay, let's play this game. Okay. Yeah, this game is so awesome, so I can click like this button. Like, wow, I look so cool. Now I can take a screenshot and I can send this in the members teaser channel. If you buy a channel membership above the basic member tier, you can get exclusive access to behind the scenes footage and sneak peeks and teasers in my Discord server. Okay, now on to finding secrets about this game. Okay, so there's this like platform that is supposedly to like shade this scene, but there's a random piece on top of it. I feel like that has to have some sort of significance. There's also this piece out here. More rooms coming soon. I don't know if that's actually the wall to the right is fake. Okay, maybe it meant this right. Okay, now I'm out here. Nice. Okay. Oh. Okay. So this is like a thing to it like tells you what everything is made of. Dude, I don't know. I don't know anything about Studio. Yeah, it says everything. So I mean, I guess you could use this to like track down what everything is made out of, like the cultists and like the moon itself. This is a pretty smart idea. I just don't think they're pulling up to this. I need to get up there somehow. I'm assuming there's another thing up there. I have no clue how I'm expected to get up here, but I do know one thing. There's nothing stopping me from doing this. Yippee! Oh, I can't click it or anything. Wait. Oh, okay. There is That's awesome. Biography. I love reading. What stood out to me about this part is that instead of showing its properties, it showed a scramble of letters. After a bit of trying things, I realized it was a Google Drive URL ending, and it brought me to a folder named Carter, which turns out to be the name of the person behind this account. Inside of the folder was a picture and a text file. The text file was called What Started It All, and it was a long note from Carter detailing his encounter with the cult. Back in February of 2020, I was playing a game with my closest friend, Ezra. Both of our schools had shut down for 2 weeks because of COVID. I was so happy I was getting to spend as much time with him as I was. We were both in our final year of high school, and finals had been destroying us. We were playing some obby late one night, and we're just talking about how awesome the shutdown was, like how pretty much every other kid at the time was. We didn't blink an eye when the day turned to night. We kept playing as we were both closing in on the end. As the moon drew closer, he finally began to question what was going on. I didn't think much of it. I assumed it was just a part of the game. Then platforms started to get deleted. We started noticing impossible gaps, but decided to just frog jump over them. Eventually we noticed the ambient, and at that point he wanted to leave and go to bed. He always feared the paranormal, and was convinced this happening was not natural at all. I was usually the only one to support him through things like this, but this night I didn't want him to get off, so I told him just to stay until we completed the game. It was for a stupid reason. I wish I had said otherwise. Just a minute later, we jumped off each other for the last time to reach the wind platform. Ezra landed on it, but I barely missed it, and I fell into the void, respawning at the last checkpoint. The final stage of the obby had been completely deleted, and there was no way for me to get to him. I felt embarrassed at that point. I had kept him on all that time just to fail. I didn't want to say what I wanted to say anymore. I began to type out to him, apologizing and telling him we could just go to bed. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw them all fall on top of him. The second they touched him, he vanished. The server shut down. I messaged him in a panic. I kept messaging days, weeks, months after it happened. I never heard from him again. It's been 6 years since he disappeared. The guilt has driven me insane. I want to figure this out. Part of me still hopes that he didn't die or something and is living happily, and this is all some huge hacker scandal. I'm getting fed up with getting nowhere. I'm not going to stop anything for any means anymore. I will figure out what happened. This was deep.
This is more than an off-road truck. It's a truckload of fun. Show your more adventurous side. My Plate's more than a plate.
When you smoke, the chemicals you inhale cause mutations in your body. And mutations.
The only other thing in the drive is a picture of what Ezra's avatar looked like. Things didn't really start going
Kinda
on for
mean.
Carter over time. He would go on to make 3 more community posts over the next 2 weeks. The first one was him begging for people to spread word of the investigation and look for evidence, as he had received an unverified tip that the cult might be spreading to other games. The next one was a week later, where he clarified that games at nighttime are not considered evidence. The last one was 4 days after that, and it was captioned, "New evidence being uploaded soon." An image was attached of emails between Carter and Eve, and these emails are kinda weird. You're telling me you talked to them and recorded it all, but the video just cuts off mysteriously. Yes, it just cuts off right there, and that's all I have. I don't know what to tell you. Would you mind downloading and running this for me? It's something that could possibly restore the file, assuming it was damaged. I guess. I'll send it to you if it fixes it. Then, at the bottom, there's one more barely cut off email from Eve. Wait, Carter, don't you have the video as well? Why the hell did I download this? I ran it and my PC just keeps freezing at random. What the hell did you send me? Carter claimed that what he attached was a program to fix Eve's video, but I don't think any program like that should make your PC start freezing. What he sent was a zip file, and we really can't know what was in there. The thing is though, I feel like if it was a real program, Eve would have told Carter if it worked or not. What likely happened here is that after Carter learned that there was more to Eve's encounter that she wasn't sending, he sent her a virus to look through her files. Carter is desperate. This is incredibly questionable behavior. He may not have any bad intentions, but this is an outright invasion of privacy. Speaking of invasion of privacy, Carter accidentally leaked his email. It's linked to a Roblox account under the same name, and the Roblox account in question is actually his real old Roblox account. The description on it reads, 6/1/2020. This is my last time logging in here. I've unadded everyone. If this account adds you, don't accept. It's not me. I've left Roblox. You know how to reach me. If you don't, ask my other friends. I can't put it here. I don't want them to find me. I can only assume this confirms Carter saw too much, and that the cult started targeting him as well for it. About a day after this post, Carter uploaded a new video to the channel. I didn't know it at the time, but these 4 minutes were going to be the craziest moments we've seen so far. The video is called Temple of Thea. Starting off, we can see that Carter got the file, as this appears to be a continuation of Eve's perspective at the mall. She's been teleported to a different game, and appears to be in some sort of gray palace. She looks out, and there are 6 gray Robloxians all chatting in front of her. This is the group that brought her here. All of them share the name Moon, so I'm going to refer to them as Moon Men for now. Eve walks over to one of the groups of Moon Men, gets weirded out, and just tries to leave. The problem is that she can't. She then tries asking one what's going on, and instead of answering her questions, it starts saying strange, vague things. You will soon meet her. You will be blessed with eternal joy. And lastly, the entire group says, you will be safe in Thea. Eve turns to the right and sees a giant figure idled down the center. She approaches it and it walks up to her. The figure's name is Thea. Unlike the Moon Men, she actually greets Eve. She then explains she isn't going to hurt Eve, but Eve interrupted an important meeting. This proves the theory that the cult wants people out of the game when they arrive. They were meeting there. Eve profusely apologizes and asks to just leave, but the entity suggests she stays, for now is a chance to live a life she's always wanted. Eve rightfully doesn't believe this and says they're all creepy. The entity requests a moment to explain what she means and goes on to tell Eve about the Thea impact. If you don't know what this is, it proposes that a Mars-sized planet named Thea collided with the Earth around 4.5 billion years ago, an event which completely demolished Thea and formed the moon out of it. The entity explains that life flourished on Thea until the collision, which she was the sole survivor of. Incapacitated, she waited an eternity for technology on Earth to progress until it had advanced enough to be used as a vessel. The entity, which I will now refer to as Thea the Survivor, now wants to use this technology to restore greatness to Thea the planet's remains, which is what we call the moon. She promises Eve life will be better than she could imagine, but Eve declines joining and again asks to be let go. She tries leaving the game to no avail, until something is said that makes her completely freeze. If you don't remember, Rosie was the pet bunny Eve mentioned in her bio. This must have been a very recent event. How the survivor knew this happened is beyond me. Eve's opinion doesn't change. She still wants to leave, but the survivor tells her she doesn't have a choice. Any attempt to resist will be futile. Eve starts typing back, but then the video just ends. In the description, we can see that Carter is very clearly going through a lot of emotions after seeing this footage. He's lost with all this new information. He's confused on if this is even what happened to Ezra. He's mad that there still isn't an answer to what went differently with Eve. He says he's not getting an answer from her about it anytime soon, implying that Eve doesn't want to talk with him anymore. This pretty much confirms he did in fact send Eve a virus. At the end of the description, he considers logging back into his old account, which is a dangerous move, but he doesn't care what happens to him anymore. I was lost at first as well, but a few hours later, this video had captions added to it. I rewatched it, and at the end, 2 subtitles appeared. The first one was clearly a Caesar cipher. When I decoded it, it read, "And then the grace of our heaven was stolen from me." The second subtitle was encoded in base 32, and it decoded to an image link. The image was of a news article. It read, "High windstorm downs trees, causing power outages in Omaha." It was published the day after the incident. Eve must have lost power, putting a complete stop to anything that could have happened on her PC. Thea, the survivor, mentioned that technology is her vessel. Without technology, she lost all contact with Eve. This statement also brings us back to these subtitles in the first place, because I doubt they were something added by Carter. I think they found him again.
Tried every allergy trick in the book? Grab Zyrtec for fast-acting 24-hour hay fever relief. Seize the day with Zyrtec. No hay fever tablet works faster.
Total Tools Mega Outdoor Power Event is on now. Get up to $2,000 to spend on more tools. Hurry, must end Sunday.
A few days later, the channel started a live stream. It was titled Confrontation. I pulled it up and Carter was playing the investigation game on his main account. He had the debug tool equipped. He was ready to track them down once and for all. He sat around for a minute, and then it happened. Night fell upon the game. Carter instantly looked up at the moon to find its source, but nothing was showing in the hierarchy or properties. All Carter could see was that it was slowly approaching. His plan wasn't working well so far, but then he walked over to the sign at the end of the map. He stood in front of it and asked one simple question in chat. What did you do to him? I assume he expected to communicate through the sign, as they've edited text before, but Carter's question was answered in another way.
Eddie was sorry that he played sick with his friend.
When I saw this, I instantly thought, they're mimicking Ezra, just like they did Eve. And then I remembered, Carter never saw Blue's video. He doesn't know the Moon Men can imitate others. But Carter checked the tab list, and then the menu, and it looked like it was Ezra's real account. When they mimicked Eve, she didn't show on the player list. Could this really be the real Ezra? Even the body parts show as belonging to him on the debug tool. We can see that Carter is literally shaking through the cursor. He asks if it's really Ezra, and Ezra says it's really him, but he's acting way too calm. Carter points out that the cult is in the game and they need to get out, but Ezra says something unexpected. He's fine with them? Carter doesn't believe Ezra is real anymore, but he still wants to. Ezra referred to him as his username, Skills, so Carter asks Ezra what his real name is. Ezra answers correctly, to which Carter then asks what his birthday is, and Ezra answers correctly again, even adding in a fact that only he would have known. Carter is so shocked that he almost forgets you can't swear in Roblox chat. He starts finally asking questions, like where Ezra was took and where he's been all this time. Ezra answers by saying he was brought to the Palace of the Survivor and was welcomed. He mentions that they took him in because they knew he was a target of hostile spirits. We know from Carter's drive that Ezra always feared the paranormal. Thea, the survivor, must have used this to manipulate him into joining. When Carter asks if Ezra has been living in a Roblox game, Ezra explains that his soul was digitalized and that he lives in technology, just like Thea explained to Eve. Carter is once again incredibly overwhelmed by all of this information. The moon is drawing closer and closer, and he really just wants to trust Ezra. He asks Ezra to make a promise that if he came with him, they could be together again. Ezra promises, walks up to Carter, and then Carter is took to the palace. However, unlike Eve, Carter is not at the entrance. He spawns in completely trapped in the air, stuck in front of Thea. Ezra is gone. It's just Carter and the reason he's there in the first place. Just like Ezra, Thea remarks how Carter finally returned. Carter isn't having any of this though. He wants to know what happened to Ezra. Thea tells Carter Ezra has returned to their safe haven and begins speaking again, but Carter demands for Ezra to be brought back. Thea ignores this request and continues with her speech, but Carter keeps telling her to bring Ezra back. Thea finally finishes, telling Carter that he will be graciously accepted after paying a price. Carter then loses it and states he's just going to turn off his PC if Ezra isn't brought back. I mean, hey, Thea can't reach him if his computer's powered off. It's a pretty good idea, right?
I'll watch this later. I wanna watch something else.
So I went through it, and as expected, I was teleported to this weird subplace. In here, you're completely surrounded by buildings, and it also seems like there are other portals like this one that you could go through. There are also these two NPCs called the It looked like a teleporter, so I went through it, and as expected, I was teleported to this weird subplace. In here, you're completely surrounded by buildings, and it also seems like there are other portals like this one that you could go through. There are also these two NPCs called the Fella and Killbot that are in here with you. These are the only lines they say when you talk to them. This was the last thing I was able to find, so let's move on.
The #1 cocktail in Italy, Aperol Spritz.
Invisalign aligners are made with superior material compared to previous generations. Invisalign aligners provide more controlled tooth movement than ever before. Invisalign offers better shape retention. Choose Invisalign, the #1 clear aligner brand in the world.
Out of all of the games we have covered so far, this one just might be the most surreal. The map design is strange, and all of the rooms are disjointed and unrelated to each other. I mean, look at these emojis. Oh. Anyways, there's a shopkeeper named Dave that gives you these two items for free.
God, why is
One thing
Mahler
that I
kept
noticed is
screwing
that
up the
every time I
verdict,
rejoined,
the
you
line?
seem to be in a different place with this shop. This was also the case for this chalkboard in the classroom, as a math equation would change every time I rejoined as well. However, I couldn't say the answer in chat because it was also broken. One of the times I rejoined though, the chalkboard actually said this instead of a math equation. Why aren't you happy, Henry Robloxian 15732? I gave you a very special gift. Be grateful or I will take it away from you without a choice. Right now, I have no idea who this Henry person is or who wrote this in the first place, so I'm gonna brush this off for now. What I do want to touch on though are these bricks that spawn that have a sign that says not to knock them over. And while I only died after knocking them over, I actually played this game a year ago, and when I knocked them over then, this happened. You were teleported to John's puzzle game, which, if you didn't know, is actually the oldest known game built on Roblox's software, however it is currently lost media. After a bit of waiting, a message starts to take over the screen. Hello? I'm surprised you found this place. This place is an origin point, the start of it all. And you? We're stuck here and you're not supposed to be here at all. Goodbye. Don't break the rules next time. Hello there. You seem to be a fan of Roblox, Come on, follow me. I will bring you to a place where Roblox is everywhere. Don't be afraid. I will also give you a gift. A very special one. What's the gift? I'll show you in the room behind me. Do not.
Oh, too scary. It's really nighttime.
You find it encouraging that there is such a backlash when people get caught using AI. Like, people actually do care when Call of... Sometimes a piece of media is forever tied to the time in which it was released. When someone experiences something for the first time can have a great impact on how it's received, how it will live on in their memory. I played Another Code 2 Memories at the right time in my life, though back then I knew it under its North American title, Trace Memory. It was one of the first story-heavy games I ever played. It featured a main character who I really felt I could relate to. The cartoony platformer mascots, the young RPG protagonists in fantasy lands, the violent adults seen in games my friends' older brothers would play. None of them compared to Ashley Robbins, a 13-year-old girl who finds herself in an abandoned house on a mysterious island. She's the same age I was when I first booted it up. The story, while it does have supernatural and science fiction elements, stays pretty grounded. Trace Memory was also in the first round of games I got for my Nintendo DS. It featured loads of puzzles that used the newfangled device. The game makes the player consider the DS as an object that they're holding in their hands, an object that mirrors the one Ashley carries around throughout the story. Another Code 2 Memories has been a game that I remember fondly all these years later, and while I've since become a huge fan of games that have done similar things, no experience has really captured that place and time like the summer of 2006. Sitting on the bed at my grandmother's house with my bright blue brick of a DS.
Vodafone has the latest devices, like the new Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra with 100 times zoom to make life's moments even more epic.
Over
and right now,
2,000
save
verdicts. That's so
$1,000
much.
when you trade in with Vodafone. Head in store or online today.
With spending details in the BankWest app, every purchase is easy to see, which means less time worrying about unknown transactions and more time worrying about new people.
In September of 2023, an announcement for a remake of Another Code 2 Memories, along with its sequel, was featured in a Nintendo Direct presentation. It released the following January. I had been meaning to revisit the abandoned house on the mysterious island anyway, to see if my memories of Trace Memory held up. So I purchased a copy for my Switch and eagerly ventured to that island once again. But this remake wasn't just any typical re-release. Sure, the game was now fully in 3D. There was voice acting, the story had some changes, but there was something else. Something wrong. I knew going in that some things were going to be different. The original game was so tied to the DS hardware, certain compromises would have to be made. But this new version of the game, now presented as the first half of Another Code Recollection, opts to do something else entirely. It opts to change everything. Changes in remakes happen all the time, and while it may be tempting to say that Recollection isn't great because it's different from a game that had a big impact on me, it goes deeper than that. As Ashley and I explored the creepy mansion, as we learned about her past and the history of the island, I had a sinking feeling about Another Code's past, or more accurately, how it is forever stuck in the past. Another Code Recollection shows a grim future, not only for itself, but for a whole generation of video game history. Another Code 2 Memories is a puzzle adventure game, cut from the same cloth as many point-and-click adventures before it. There's a lot of talking, a lot of searching rooms to find unusual keys for unusual locks, and some good old-fashioned puzzle solving. The gameplay not so subtly asks the player to imagine the possibilities of the DS. This game was released within a year of the DS being on the market, so it leans into this idea. Imagine the screen is a notebook and the stylus is a piece of charcoal. Imagine the screen is a rope and the stylus is a knife. Imagine the screen is a bottle and the stylus is a hammer. There are also bits where the player has to use the microphone to blow dust off an old picture or fog up a piece of glass. Something that kinesthetic was mind-blowing back in the early days of this strange Nintendo handheld. Even beyond that, another Code 2 Memories features puzzles that sort of break the fourth wall. There's one where Ashley looks at a hinged picture frame with odd markings on it. The images appear on the top and bottom screens of the DS. What the player has to do is close the DS slightly so that the screens reflect on each other. Together, they reveal a solution to a puzzle. That's awesome! There's another where the player finds some rubber stamps. The stamp appears on the top screen and the paper appears on the bottom. What the player has to do is close the DS and open it again, like they're actually stamping the paper. This game serves as a showcase for what the DS can do, but it also plants seeds in the player's imagination. What else is the DS capable of? The first chapter sets up the story. Ashley Mizuki Robbins witnessed the murder of her mother on the night of her 3rd birthday. That was 11 years ago. She receives a strange two-screen device from her estranged father, who she also thought was dead, and an invitation to come meet him on the foreboding Blood Edward Island. She and her Aunt Jessica take him up on his offer. But it isn't long before Aunt Jessica goes missing and the boat leaves Ashley stranded with no way of finding anyone else on the island. The player has 5 tasks to accomplish in this first chapter. First, they have to lower the drawbridge. Pretty simple, just walk up to the crank and turn it using the touchscreen. This teaches the player about interacting with objects and introduces the touchscreen. Second, they have to put the pieces of a wooden sign back together. This also uses the touchscreen, but is more of a puzzle. Third, they have to move a gravestone and meet Dean, the ghost of a kid who has lost his memories. Actually, moving the gravestone is really simple, just push it on the touchscreen. Fourth, they have to uncover a symbol to unlock a gate. This one's a little more involved. The player has to find rust on a machine, learn that the rust can't be scraped off by hand, ouch, find a metal brush, scrape the rust off with that brush to reveal a symbol, backtrack to the gate, and then input the symbol to unlock it. This sets up a pattern that 2 memories will follow for the rest of the game. Find a lock, find a key, use some aspect of the DS's functionality to actually do the unlocking, and reveal a piece of information that will be relevant somewhere else. The final task in this chapter is to find a way to get into the house. It uses the same pattern: lock, key, DS activity, in this case playing basketball with an iron sphere, and reward. All 5 of these activities involve using the touchscreen. Spin, move, slide, rub, flick. All are simple and intuitive. All are required to progress. So what happens when we take the touchscreen away? In the first chapter of Recollection, there are 4 obstacles to overcome. The first is fixing a bridge. Find a plank of wood and place it in a way where it won't fall into the river below. A decent replacement, I suppose. The broken sign has been replaced with a sneaky key lodged underneath a stool. Use the gyro sensor on the controller to dislodge it. Okay, that's something unique to the Switch, even if the obstacle looks and feels completely different now. Meeting D now involves finding chunks of damaged gravestones, putting them back where they belong, finding the symbols, and using them to unlock a gate. Alright, that's a pretty good replacement. But the bit at the old mine is missing entirely. Not only has the rust scraping been removed, but the gate symbol has been removed as well. And unlocking the door to the house, well, this little side building has been removed, so there's no object to fetch. Instead, the player has to figure out how to use these door knockers, which is just repeating a really simple pattern.
There's a huge universe out there.
This is an issue that plagues Another Code Recollection. Puzzles might look similar, but they function in completely different ways. Of the 5 original puzzles in this first chapter, 2 have been replaced with similar tasks. 1 has been improved, 1 has been made worse, and 1 has been removed entirely. None of the actual gameplay objectives from the original DS title resemble their Switch counterparts. That being said, the actual DS touchscreen stuff seems pretty milquetoast in retrospect. Something like turning a crank or scraping off rust relies on the novelty of this weird new 2-screen Game Boy thing. Remember, this game was released within the DS's first year on the market, before the smartphone revolution put touchscreens everywhere. But when Recollection was released in 2024, the novelty was gone. This game released during the last full year of the Switch's lifespan. The DS was but a distant memory for many. Moving a stone to the right on a touchscreen isn't a unique experience in a world with doom scrolling. So Recollection has a tough hill to climb. It has to remake a game built around novel interactions on a device that it does not run on, a device that has run its course and from which the general gaming populace has moved on. By my count, there are 23 puzzles in the original version of Another Code 2 Memories, although I played Trace Memory for this video because Ashley's more of a smartass. Of these 23, only 3 puzzles resemble their original form in Recollection. There's this one where the player has to overlay 2 pictures in order to get a code. The context is different though. In the original, this appears as soon as Ashley and Dee enter the mansion and is used to unlock the first door. In the remake, it's used to get sheet music for a piano much later, but the concept remains the same for both of them. There's also this one that involves combining 2 keys to form a new key. It appears at a different point in the game, but it's functionally still the same. And then there's this puzzle with the radio, where the player has to position the knobs in a certain way in order to turn it off. This is the only puzzle that retains both its mechanics and its context in the entire game. 12 of the 23 puzzles are new to Recollection, essentially replacing the old ones. Some of them are better in the remake. Instead of matching the pattern of these candles to make a door open, the player has to solve this scale puzzle that involves the phases of the moon and invisible ink. Cool stuff. But others are more lateral moves between versions. There's a bit in the DS game where the player has to find something to remove a rope holding a door closed. They have to find a knife in a kind of random place and then use the touchscreen to cut it. In the Switch version, to get behind an equivalent door, the player has to go to this new courtyard area and turn off the sprinklers to redirect water to clean a fountain. This reveals a key, which opens a door to a room with a key to another door. I'd say these two are about on par with each other. But others, I don't know, some of these puzzles have been changed for the worse. There's this one puzzle kind of early on where the player has to search the rooms in a hallway for a bunch of books. Along the way, Ashley and Dee learn about the family who used to live in the now abandoned house. Dee, a deceased member of the family, will have his memory jogged as he remembers his family from long ago. So when it comes time to put the books on the shelf, they have to put them in the right order, in order that spells out Henry Thomas, the names of the patriarch's 2 grandsons. In order to pass, the player has to put the letters in the right order, but it only makes sense if they've been paying attention to the story. But in the remake, the closest thing to that is this section where Ashley has to find silver plates in the various rooms of the house, and then put the plates on a shelf as they appear in a picture on the wall. And that's it. Search a room, repeat a pattern. There's this section too, where the player sees books in a certain order on a shelf in one corner of the room, and has to put them in the same order in another to open the way forward. Search a room, repeat a pattern. That puzzle, where the player has to stamp the paper by closing the DS, upon completing that puzzle, the player learns about an injury a member of Dee's family suffered. But that same information in the remake is conveyed like this. The player opens a box, removes its contents, then finds a doll that resembles that family member. The inventiveness seen in the original is gone, replaced not with anything noteworthy, but with the simplest game of hide and seek. In my opinion, of the 12 new puzzles, 3 have been improved, 4 are about the same, and 5 have been made worse. But most shocking of all, 8 of the puzzles have been removed and not been replaced with anything. The player makes similar progress by simply finding the object they need lying around. There's the aforementioned Rusty Machine puzzle. This is to get a code to open a gate, but in Recollection, the gate is opened after the second puzzle. There's no further need for a puzzle, and therefore nothing to do in the mine. The puzzle with the picture frame meets this fate too. While the puzzle itself couldn't translate in its original form, could there not have been a 3D model of the frame that the player, rotates? Rubbing charcoal on a paper to get a message left in the indention? Yeah, that note's just sitting out in the open. This sliding block puzzle that gets you a medallion to get a key? That key is just in the safe. Piecing together a ripped up diary page? Well, it was never ripped to begin with. Breaking a bottle with a hammer to get a note inside? Who would put a note in a bottle? These are little things, but they add up over the course of the game. Rubbing charcoal might not have worked on a standard controller, but the diary page could, that block puzzle could. The player could have to look for a hammer to break the bottle, even if the actual breaking of the bottle isn't kinesthetic. So of the game's original 23 obstacles, 3 are the same, 3 have been improved, 4 have been altered to similar results, 5 have been made worse, and 8 have been removed with no replacement. That's over a third of the actual gameplay.
Selling online in places like Amazon has allowed us to increase our sales, and now we're moving into a warehouse 5 times bigger than this.
Let's help Aussie businesses keep growing.
There's something in the air at Birdseye. Our lightest fish with 50% less oil is air-baked by us for the crispiest crumb. Air-baked fish. An eye for good. Birdseye.
Missing. There are of course some story and aesthetic changes as well. Certain scenes happen at different times, which I do honestly think improves the overall pacing. There's a new bit where Dee and Ashley get separated that has a pretty good payoff, even if it means Dee can go through walls now, but whatever. The house's layout is a lot more like an actual house instead of a bunch of hallways. The voice acting is nice, I guess. Some serious thought and effort went into updating this story. But again, those little story changes add up. There's a twist that happens midway through that's telegraphed in the original, but the remake practically just straight up tells the player what the twist is before it happens. While this version of the game features a girl named Ashley and a ghost boy named Dee exploring a house that used to belong to the Edward family, just about everything else feels different. Not only does Recollection, ironically, want the player to forget about the deep roots this game has to the DS, it wants the player to forget the original story and aesthetic as well. It wants to overwrite the original. So the question remains, why? Why does this game exist in the state that it does? Why was this branded and sold as a remake of Another Code 2 Memories when it might as well just have been a new entry in the series, or a new IP altogether? Was the idea to preserve the original? No, because why would there be so many gameplay changes? Was the idea to present the story to a new audience? No, because why would there be so many story changes? Was the idea for this to be a cash grab? No, because it's not like people are clamoring for Ashley and Dee to be in Smash Brothers. Is this to test the waters to see if people want a third game in the series, kind of like what Famicom Detective Club did? Maybe? I guess we'll see. Sing, the original development studio, shuttered in 2010, so there's that to contend with. I don't know why this game exists. We can throw around words like reimagining or reinterpretation all we want to, but it doesn't hide the fact that this version featured in Recollection can never be a true remake of the DS game because, well, the original is a DS game. The original title looked to the future of gaming, showing what the future could hold for this experimental device, but it in no way was future-proofed for a future that left the DS behind. But Recollection stands apart for another reason. Even if the end result isn't especially faithful to the original vision, Another Code 2 Memories is one of only a handful of DS games to appear on a modern platform. One of the defining features of the Nintendo Wii was its ability to download retro titles to the system. The Virtual Console, as was called, allowed players to relive the old days or experience out-of-print classics for the first time. It was a big deal. While the retro collecting market and the emulation scene offered players these experiences, it was the first time Nintendo themselves offered their back catalog in a convenient, affordable way. It had all the consoles one would expect, but no handheld systems. Those would come in 2011 with the launch of the 3DS Virtual Console. There, users could download Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Gear titles, but no original DS games. Yeah, even though the 3DS was backward compatible with its predecessor, DS games weren't for sale on its eShop. But 4 years later, in 2015, that would change on the Wii U Virtual Console. For the first and, as of this writing, only time, users could purchase and download a select number of DS games to their Wii U. There were 31 games available. Stuff like Mario Kart DS, Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Star Fox Command, Kirby Canvas Curse, WarioWare Touched, a lot of the hits. I didn't download any of these games when the eShop was still up and running, so I can't test this firsthand, but from what I've read, this seems like a pretty solid way to play these games. It's not as clean of an experience as playing on original hardware, but it works. But as the Wii U died a slow death and the eShop closed its digital doors in 2023, those select few games faded into obscurity once again. The Virtual Console was replaced with a subscription service on the Switch, and it features a lot of the heavy hitters, but no DS. And now we're back to where we started. How could one play WarioWare Touched on the Switch? Or Kirby Canvas Curse? Or Phantom Hourglass? You can't. Of course, Another Code is far from the only puzzle adventure game on the DS. Professor Layton and the Curious Village scratches a similar itch, though it places a heavier emphasis on brain teasers than point-and-click adventure puzzles. The game presents a series of puzzles that the player has to solve with the touchscreen. Lots of dragging and dropping and drawing lines. It's a good time, and it successfully made it off the DS. This game, along with its two follow-ups, received ports for mobile devices, vertical displays with touchscreens. Since the game doesn't require the use of the directional pad or face buttons, it's a natural fit, and it seems to be doing pretty well for itself commercially. Konami published 3 widely celebrated Castlevania games for the DS. The gameplay takes place on one screen and the extra info appears on the other. This trilogy was re-released as a collection for every standard gaming device in the market in 2024, and it doesn't try to hide its two-screen roots. Touchscreen elements have been swapped for button presses. Since these games aren't too tied to the DS's quirks, they're able to translate over to a standard controller just fine, even if it looks a little clunky.
Behind your precious moments, there's all our care for sourcing quality ingredients responsibly. 100% of cocoa and Ferrero Rocher is certified through independently managed sustainability standards. Caring for your
The World Ends With You takes a different approach. In the remastered Final Remix version of this game, the 2 screens are consolidated to one. There are certain design quirks that show its DS roots, but it still functions without any knowledge of its original hardware. So these are 3 games that successfully made it off the DS and are, at least of right now, commercially available. And each of them adapt to their new hardware in completely different ways. Do we go full phone game? Do we try and fit multiple screens into one? Or do we only put one thing on the screen at a time? There's no one-size-fits-all answer, and that worries me. In 2023, the Video Game History Foundation published a widely circulated and rather alarming study about the dire state of game preservation. Only 13.27% of all games ever made are still available. That's wild. And that leftover 86.73% includes quite a few heavy hitters. In their study, the Video Game History Foundation targeted a few systems for a more detailed analysis. One of them was the Game Boy family of consoles, the original, the Color, and the Advance. When the Wii U and 3DS Virtual Consoles were alive and well, only 12.4% of all games released for those platforms were available. 12.4. When it shut down, that number shrank to a measly 5.9. Out of every 100 Game Boy games, only 6 live on today. And this is the Game Boy we're talking about. This is a single small screen with a directional pad, 2 face buttons, 2 shoulder buttons on the Advance, Start, and Select. This would be easy to replicate on any system. The study didn't explicitly look into DS games, but I'd imagine their numbers would be worse. When the Wii U offered DS games, they only offered 31. 31 out of an estimated 2,334. And those 31 were delisted in 2023. If these games were to live on in any official capacity, they would have to undergo serious changes. They would have to be ported to mobile devices without buttons. They would have to have certain touch controls removed. They would have to consolidate 2 screens into one. This requires work, time, money, things the industry isn't willing to spend on old games. I mean, why would they? Of course, there are less than official means to play these games, but even then, it's kind of a pain to play DS games on a standard display, at least if you ask me. A Game Boy Advance game? Sure, yeah, easy. But a DS game? In another code, Ashley's first task is to turn a crank. With a stylus, it works great. But with a mouse, I honestly had a little trouble getting it to register. I guess with a drawing tablet, it might be more intuitive. Closing the stamp was replaced with pressing a button, as was fogging the glass. And while flashcards exist for original hardware, will they always exist? Will Nintendo ever be successful in their crusade against emulation? Nintendo was doing some wild stuff in the 2000s. With the DS, the Wii, the 3DS, and the Wii U, they offered something different than the rest of the market. It was an experimental era, one that brought us some wonderful experiences. But those experiences are seemingly locked to that one place in time. While I enjoyed revisiting Blood Edward Island, while I enjoyed hanging out with Ashley and Dee again, it will never replace playing this game on my bright blue brick of a DS at my grandmother's house after everyone else had gone to sleep. What will happen to New Super Mario Bros? What will happen to Nintendogs, or Elite Beat Agents, or Spirit Tracks? Will we ever see those games again? I didn't think we'd ever see another code again, and then we did. Kind of. We went back to Blood Edward Island. But it was different this time around. The mansion was different. Ashley was different. When I first played through Recollection, I hadn't touched the original since it had come out, yet the entire time I kept running into things. Wait, this isn't how I remember it. Was this always here? Wasn't there a statue in the foyer? Could Dee always phase through walls? I kind of felt like Dee bumping into something that would jog a distant memory. I remembered a baseball and a shoe. I remembered a zoetrope. I remembered a house that was long abandoned, a remnant of what it used to be. This new alien version of the island insists that it was always like this. As far as Nintendo is concerned, that old version of the game is long gone, replaced with this new, shiny 3D version, the only version that's available. The only version that will probably ever be available again. Why would you want to go back to the way it was before? There's a scene towards the end of Another Code 2 Memories where Ashley and Dee discover why Ashley's father went missing all those years ago. He was working on a top secret project, a machine called Another, or Trace in the North American localization. It has the ability to replay people's memories, flawed as they may be, but it also has the ability to overwrite memories. What actually happened isn't remembered, but instead a fabrication of past events. What the machine operator wants to be remembered lives on, not the real, factual events, however painful they may be. Another keeps a record of the memories that have been overwritten. In theory, the original memory could be reinstated in someone's mind. In a pivotal scene in the original game, Ashley replays 2 of her father's memories, the way he currently remembers the night her mother died, and then what actually happened. They learn the truth of what transpired all those years ago, and then head to the island's cave to confront the story's antagonist.
Total Tools Mega Outdoor Power Event is on now. Get up to $2,000 to spend on more tools. Hurry, must end Sunday.
Why Invisalign aligners? The #1 clear aligner brand in the world has 5 things that stand out. Invisalign aligners are made with superior material compared to previous generations. Invisalign aligners also provide more controlled tooth movement than ever before. Invisalign offers better shape retention. Invisalign is custom cut for the comfort of your teeth. Choose Invisalign, the #1 clear aligner brand in the world.
In Another Code Recollection, these scenes play out in a similar way. But there's an added scene before they leave the lab. To ensure that Another won't be used for nefarious purposes, in order to make sure the technology doesn't fall into the wrong hands, Ashley's father destroys Another. He seems almost eager to do so, as if rendering the whole device inoperable was...
Okay, yeah, I'm ending the meeting. I mean, the live meeting. Goodbye.